Ladies and gentlemen, I can't lie. I was not expecting this video to go this way. I was not expecting to make a video anything like this. I haven't made a news video in forever on this channel. But Call of Duty Black Ops 5 could very well be the next Call of Duty we get after this year's Call of Duty by Infinity Ward, which is, I mean, 100% Modern Warfare 4 at this point. It's been so many leaks. It's been everything about it. They haven't announced it yet, but it's going to be Modern Warfare 4. That being said, Call of Duty Black Ops 5 is next year's Call of Duty based off of these leaks by Jason Schreier over at Kotaku. The title of this article, Sources, Call of Duty 2020 in upheaval as Treyarch takes over, plans Black Ops 5. Let's read the first paragraph here. Next year's Call of Duty has gone through a major upheaval as publisher Activision informed developers this week that studios Raven and Sledgehammer, which had led it up until now on the project, will no longer be in charge. Instead, according to 3 people familiar with ongoings at the companies, Treyarch will lead development on a new Black Ops for 2020. Bruh, I literally, as soon as how long did this come out? 21 minutes ago, I saw this, I hopped on, I'm making a video for you guys. Let's take some perspective here. This basically just explains what they've done, the 3-year cycle that they've had since 2012. We had Black Ops 2 by Treyarch. 2013, we had Call of Duty Ghosts by Infinity Ward. We had Sledgehammer, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, 2014. 2015, we had Treyarch again with Black Ops 3. Then we had Infinite Warfare by Infinity Ward. Then we had World War II by Sledgehammer. Then we had Call of Duty Black Ops 4, which is where we're at now, by Treyarch. Next year is going to be Infinity Ward once again, and of course that's going to be Modern Warfare. It's pretty, I mean, they even say it in this article, it's pretty much confirmed at this point, all but them just actually releasing it. That's how much information we've actually had about it. That's been the cycle. Since 2012, it was basically, or before 2012, it was Treyarch, then Infinity Ward, then Treyarch, then Infinity Ward. 2012, they switched it up to the 3-studio model. They added in Sledgehammer, which started with Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, and then they made Call of Duty World War II. And, of course, they were planning on making Call of Duty 2020, but let's go ahead and read on. For 2020, Activision had originally planned to switch things up, assigning the Wisconsin-based support studio Raven to take leadership role alongside Sledgehammer to make the Call of Duty game set during the Cold War, likely involving Vietnam. So Sledgehammer wasn't even making the Call of Duty 2020. Raven was actually making Call of Duty 2020. If you don't know who Raven is, they basically help with all of their support studio, but they really do a ton of work toward all these Call of Duties to kind of help out where they need to, and they do a ton of work. They're basically part of the core team at this point, all but having their like name right in the front smack dab middle whenever you boot up the game. They do a ton of work on Call of Duty. As of very recently, that's changed. Now Treyarch, based in Santa Monica, California, is in charge of leading Call of Duty Black Ops 5 for 2020. Now Kotaku, obviously this is leaks, it's coming from sources, but Kotaku is one of the top industry leaders in having like reputable sources. They don't just put out anything. They don't go off something someone leaked online. They have actual inside sources in the industry, and it's a pretty good chance that all this stuff is real. Obviously there's a chance it's not real. Obviously things are still subject to change, but it's always interesting to look at the kind of behind the scenes of what's going on. According to those briefed on the overhaul, Treyarch will take creative leadership on this new Black Ops, while Raven and Sledgehammer will serve as support studios to the game, transforming the work they've done on their own single player story mode into a campaign for Black Ops 5. So it sounds like as of right now, again, this game is over 2 years or over a year out, like a year and a half out. This obviously could change, but it looks like the next Call of Duty after Modern Warfare 4, which we don't actually know a whole lot about except for what it's going to be, is actually going to have a campaign. This may be a welcome return for the fans who criticized for the lack of campaign in Black Ops 4. It will likely be a cross-gen game to coincide with the launch of the next PlayStation and Xbox, which are also expected in the fall of 2020. So probably it's going to be one of those like how, I forget which Call of Duties, but they launched on both Xbox 360 and Xbox One and PS3 and PS4. That's probably going to be the first of the next Call of Duties to do that as well. What this means is rather than getting 3 years to make the next game after Black Ops 4, Treyarch will have just 2. Some at the company say they're not pleased about it, and they're already bracing for brutal overtime hours like they faced last year on Black Ops 3. Others have told Kotaku they're excited about the change, as they have a solid game plan that isn't likely to change drastically, unlike their last 2 projects. There's a lot of kind of like talk and leaks about Black Ops 4 changing entire directions, and things being changed at the last second, things getting cut and scrapped. Obviously, well, they actually say here, we'll have more to share about Treyarch and development of Black Ops 4 in the coming weeks, so I guess they're going to put out another article. The interesting part is the having 2 years. Obviously, they did for a while when they were going back and forth between Infinity Ward and Treyarch. They already had the 2-year life cycle basically to make the games. But it seems like they're gonna have the entire support of Sledgehammer and Raven. So it's basically like instead of 2 studios working over 3 years, they're gonna have 3 studios working over like a year and a half, which is a lot more manpower put behind the game. I feel like it kind of trades out. Obviously, I don't know the ongoings. I don't know how big each of the teams are, but definitely having more people does make this easier. But obviously, I don't know a whole lot about it. This is just me kind of speculating as to not freaking out maybe, but obviously I don't know. It's a whole lot of stuff. This is just what they're reporting and kind of giving my first takes to it. This news comes during a strange time for Activision and Call of Duty. Although Black Ops 4 sold well at first, we've heard that it hasn't quite had the revenue tail that Activision's bean counters were hoping to see, so it hasn't been making as much money over time as they wanted it to. It sold well at the beginning, but people kind of dropped off. Internally, Activision executives have started to talk about embracing a free-to-play as a revenue model. Once an anathema to the publisher, and 3 sources say they're looking to offer a free-to-play component for next year's Modern Warfare. Although specifics may not be finalized yet, some within Activision have remained resistant to the idea. So it seems like internally they're kind of considering and talking about possibly actually having free-to-play components, whether that be battle royales, whether that be zombies, whatever I don't even know if the next game is going to have zombies, but whatever they plan to do, it seems like they're at least considering going free-to-play for parts of it. So obviously Activision is very much not a free-to-play type company. I don't think they make any games that are free-to-play, at least not as their main studios, but we'll see. It's very interesting. It's a very interesting idea that they might possibly offer that, because that obviously comes with trade-offs of like how much are they gonna like promote skins and stuff like that, and it comes with a whole bunch of other questions, but very interesting. In the past year, Sledge has been rough for the San Francisco-based Sledgehammer. In February 2018, Kotaku broke the news that Sledgehammer's co-founders Michael Condrey and Glenn Schofield had left the studio. Although Activision spun it as a promotion, they're saying that they take on new executive duties. It was very clearly an ousting, and the two quietly exited shortly afterwards. So obviously, Condrey and Glenn Schofield left the studio like in the middle of the World War II life cycle. And obviously this is just what they're reporting. We don't know if that was actually an ousting or what it was. I don't think it really matters. It's all kind of in the past. It's kind of just like looking forward what matters. Earlier this year, Condrey started a new Silicon Valley studio with publisher 2K, and he's recruited dozens of Sledgehammer staff. The studio has been hemorrhaging employees over the past few months, much to the dismay of those who remain. So it sounds like, I didn't actually know that Condrey started a new studio, and it seems like he's getting some of the Sledgehammer staff that he used to work with to come work for his new studio, which probably might be part of the reason why they're switching over. One of the primary reasons behind this Call of Duty's upheaval, according to 2 people familiar with the happenings at Activision, is the tension between Sledgehammer and Raven, whose staff are said to have argued frequently during the past year of development over Call of Duty 2020. 2 people familiar with the project described it as a mess. Now both studios will serve as support for Treyarch as the publisher prepares to release Call of Duty Black Ops 5. Activision declined to comment. Of course, they literally haven't even announced MW4 yet, so why would they even talk about this? Dude, I like I said, I haven't made a news video in quite some time. This is very, very interesting. I saw some people immediately reply to my tweet when I kind of like quote retweeted this story, saying, "Hey, does this mean we're gonna get a zombies only game mode?" No, not in the slightest. I would honestly, like, at this point, with the way that Black Ops 4 Zombies has gone, like, just strictly player base wise, just like looking objectively at it, I wouldn't put it past them to not even have a zombies mode, to be completely honest. I obviously hope they do. I'm obviously still a huge fan of it. I would love to like help, like if they would invite out some of the longtime zombie players and stuff to help like kind of with the development, I would be all for that. Again, if anyone from Activision or Treyarch is listening, I would love to come out and like kind of give my input over stuff that I didn't think was quite right with Black Ops 4, just gameplay wise, not even map wise. I think a lot of the things that I wasn't a huge fan of Black Ops 4 are very easily fixed, and I still think they're easily fixed, but maybe they don't want to like switch up the core formula halfway through the life cycle. That being said, that's kind of a tangent side note. It's very interesting, the possibility of free-to-play model. If I had to guess, I would say that that's kind of hopeful thinking. I wouldn't get everybody really hyped about a free-to-play Call of Duty Black Ops 5, and even then it would only be certain aspects of it. I wouldn't really get hyped about that. I think Activision is kind of set in their ways, just based off of fans' point of view. I don't know, man. It's very, very interesting because I would really like to see what just putting a ton of manpower behind Treyarch. Like, I think just because I like zombies so much, it's a little biased to me that I like Treyarch games because their zombie storyline's the one I've followed since I was like literally a kid and just before I even did YouTube. It's obviously biased for me, but I would love to see what they could do with like all of the Sledgehammer zombie guys, all of the Raven guys who helped develop Call of Duty Online. Raven helps develop Call of Duty Online, if I understand correctly. They have a ton of cool zombie stuff. Like, just putting in all this effort into Treyarch, I think is really cool. Obviously, like, people at Sledgehammer, people at Raven, obviously it sounds like they're a little bit torn on it. Some people are excited because they seem like they have a kind of direction for the game. Some people aren't as excited because it means they're going to get more crunch time since they're kind of like pivoting directions. I guess it just remains to be seen. Obviously, we still have this whole 2019 game that still has to get announced, but I thought it'd be interesting. Just make a little video, ask what your thoughts are. Let me know down below. And yeah, man, let me know what your thoughts. Black Ops 5 in a little over a year is looking like quite the possibility. Again, everything with a grain of salt that's said in this article is not absolute fact. This is just based off someone's reporting off of other sources. So not an absolute fact at all, but obviously something to take a look at. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace, everyone. Bye-bye.